Actually, we have been monitoring the companies on a case-by-case basis because we see that the industry, they are all sensitive, as well as the overall macroeconomic scenario. So we need to really look for the company's figures as well as the information, market information, to see if there's something open with banks or if protests with other companies. So it's really monitoring very close.
Let's talk now to Patricia Krause, Coface's economist for Latin America, about the credit insurance industry here in Brazil. What is the situation nowadays here in our country?
Well, the market's very sensitive, as for the other industries. Yes, we work in the credit insurance market, so we make the insurance of one of the main assets of the companies, which is the receivables. So our clients are mainly the industry. So as we saw the GDP contracting by 3.8 last year, the industry was even worse, as contracted by 8.3%. So we saw our insolvency increasing very fast. Yeah.
What are the most exposed sectors here in Brazil?
Well, unfortunately, we say that this crisis is widespread for many industries. So we saw this strong decline in activity, also this corruption scandal involving many groups. So the strong confidence decreasing very fast. Yeah, so people are not consuming. So we see retail, which is impacted. We see construction groups also influenced by the scandals. We have also the steel companies, because automotives are not consuming, construction, home appliance. So we say that's really widespread through the industry.
And did Coface have to change the business model due to this scenario?
Well, our business model remains the same, but of course we need to make adjustments in our credit portfolio, because we saw many groups which the financials deteriorated very fast last year. So we need to adapt exposure, but now we say that we already had done many adjustments, and we are stronger to face this new year, which will be also challenging.
Are you studying more each client?
Yes, actually, we have been monitoring the companies on a case-by-case basis because we see that the industry, they are all sensitive, as well as the overall macroeconomic scenario. So we need to really look for the company's figures as well as the information, market information, to see if there's something open with banks or if protests with other companies. So it's really monitoring very close.
What about the level of insolvency here in Brazil? Did you study about it? What are the numbers?
Yeah, unfortunately, actually, considering Chapter 11 in Brazil, it was created in 2005 with the new bankruptcy law. And since then, we saw a strong increase after 2012, when the industry started to feel the effect of lower activity. But last year, it increased very fast. It achieved a new record. The number of companies which filed for Chapter 11 increased by 55% compared to the previous year. And here, considering the figures for the first 2 months of this year, we also observed an increase of over 100%. So it's really going up very fast.
What about projections for the GDP here?
Well, we expect the Brazilian economy to contract again this year, a new contraction of 3% after decreasing by 3.8%. Mainly, the confidence will remain low, with all the political scenario, which has surfaced the economic problems that we need to solve. Also, inflation. Today was released the IPCA, which is the reference inflation for Brazil. It was in 10.7%, now it's in 10.4%, so it's a marginal improvement, but still very high. We expect to continue to decelerate in the next months, but it should end the year in 7%, which is still very high. Our target is of 4.5% with a ceiling of 6.5%, so something to be solved in the next year. Yeah.
And I've heard that Coface also make studies and evaluation like Standard & Poor's, Moody's and Fitch. What about the credit rating for Brazil and other countries?
Yes, as the major agencies, we also produce our own credit rating for all the countries that we have operations. So it's easily to see this data that are available on our website there, and we have 7 different grades. Yes. A1, A2, A3, and 4 are investment grade countries, and B, C, and D are non-investment grade countries. When Brazil, it was an A4 until March last year, when we decided to put on watch list. On September 2015, we decided to downgrade from A4 to B, becoming a non-investment grade country. And this year, in January this year, we decided to directly downgrade it again. We didn't put on a watch list as we usually do, because we saw that the macroeconomic data as well as the activity was really going down very fast, and we do not expect to improve in the short term. So that's why we decided to put it at C. When we compared with other countries of Latin American region, Brazil is now has the same rating than Argentina. Yes, and Argentina is now facing a different situation. They are now improvement after the new president, so we expect to see improvements for the next year. Maybe it's easier to imagine the Argentina's rating improving going back to a B than the Brazil rating going back to a B, unfortunately. Yeah.
As a company with offices around the world, how Coface sees our economy and what are the plans for Brazil?
Well, as I mentioned, the scenario is really sensitive. There's a really political crisis that needs to be solved very fast, because everything's stopped. Yeah, we see that the market. So for people to try to invest again or to consume, people are not consuming with all this unemployment going up very, very fast. Yeah, so we see that challenge will remain for this year. Yeah, but it's a big country. We hope to have to improve for the next year. Yeah.
Patricia, thank you so much for joining us and for all this information here in this interview.
Thank you.
Luciane Miranda to São Paulo Direct by Dukascopy TV.